Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or if you have significant Aries placement somewhere else, there may be a message in here for you. Aries, there's a lot of energy coming through your reading today. So the first thing is that I was getting a download from this book, actually. I read this book a long time ago, Women Who Run with the Wolves, Myths and Stories of the Wild Woman Archetype. It's such a good book. Every time I hear someone who's read this book, they only have positive things to say about it. This is a book I read a few years ago now, and I think, thinking back on that time, I do think that was the beginning of sort of my spiritual awakening, and helping me to heal my feminine energies. So maybe you're in that process right now, Aries, of healing feminine energy within yourself, particularly if you are a woman, but you could also be a man and be healing your feminine energies as well. I think all women should read this book. I think also men should read this book. If you care about a woman, if you love a woman, I think that's also key for you to read this book. But anyways, Aries, there's a very strong Scorpio energy coming through your reading today of sort of like a life, death, rebirth cycle, that kind of thing. And in particular, so it's interesting because I actually, as much as I love this book, because I read it such a long time ago, and that time in my life was one where, not a lot of clarity, fogginess, disconnected from my intuition is what I would describe of that time in my life. A lot of the stories in this book, I don't actually remember that much. It's just that, when I was reading it, I remember it being so impactful and powerful and profound. So I actually think I'm going to reread this. But anyway, so I just flipped it open for your reading today to see what was coming through. And there's one story in particular, because it's a book that has a whole bunch of different stories. And then the author sort of goes through analyzing them through a specific feminine archetype lens, in order to bring clarity about healing and all of that. So anyways, the story that's coming through for you, Aries, is the story of the skeleton woman. That's what it's called. Well, it's chapter 3. It says hunting when the heart is a lonely hunter. Chapter 5, not chapter 3. And the story is about the skeleton woman. So I'm not going to read the story because it's going to take too long, but I will summarize it. So it's about a woman who, circumstances, something happened where she angered her father, and then her father threw her into a cliff, over a cliff into the water, and she died, right? Became a skeleton. Her flesh was eaten, and she was just a collection of bones that was living in the ocean. And a fisherman comes and accidentally catches her in his net. And of course he's afraid, right? Because there's fear of having unearthed this skeleton from the ocean. And because it gets stuck in his net, it sort of follows him home. The skeleton follows him home. And there's that energy of sort of the hunter energy, a feminine hunter energy that's coming through for you, Aries. But anyways, and what happens in the story is that when he's at home and the fear sort of subsides, right? When he can see past his fear, he sees that the skeleton is stuck in his net. So he takes care in untangling the skeleton. And then through this process, because the fear has gone away, he untangles the skeleton with a lot of care and compassion. He ends up falling asleep, and has this dream whatever the dream was, that the sleep in this story is also representing sort of a death rebirth cycle. And he sheds a tear. The skeleton woman drinks the tear and then becomes human again. It's a really lovely story about like healing and rebirth, and they live happily ever after. But what's coming through for you, Aries, in that story, because it can come through many different ways. You could be healing your feminine energy where you are both the fisherman and the skeleton woman, where you're unearthing something about yourself, something that has become caught in your net. It could be an aspect of yourself that you're gently untangling, is how it's coming through, with a lot of care and compassion. And through that process, there's a rebirth that happens and a union that happens within yourself. This could also be playing out where you are the fisherman energy and you're helping to detangle somebody else's skeleton, that kind of thing. Or you could be the skeleton woman, where someone is helping you to untangle some aspect of yourself. But the important thing is that if it's that case where it's like two people or like a dynamic or something, both go through a transformation. So it's kind of coming through like that, where it's like there's a transformation happening for both you and another, or for two different aspects of yourself. Like could be like your masculine and feminine energies. Another important theme in this book, or in this particular story, is one of innocence. And the author describes the difference between ignorance and innocence, where ignorance is sort of like not knowing, right? And choosing good, let's say. Innocence is knowing everything. So innocence is not about not knowing. Innocence actually can see good and bad and all the things and everything that's wrong, but still chooses to see the good. That's the difference between innocence and ignorance, which is interesting. And that's the story of the skeleton woman is about the return of innocence, of wise innocence, of being able to see what's wrong or see the hurt or the pain or the trauma, and then knowing how to fix it or to heal it by untangling it. That's how it's coming through. There's also this energy here of trust, because the fisherman does sleep, which is coming through as this sort of very vulnerable trust energy, sleeps in the presence of the skeleton woman, of something that he feared, right? And it's coming through for you, Aries, a reminder about, like, because I feel like Aries energy can be very like tough warrior kind of vibes. Aries, I say that lovingly. But there's this energy here of like vulnerability that's coming through for you that's very important. That leads to a transformation. And there's this one phrase. Hold on. Let me see if I can see it, or if I can find it. Something about like trust. Okay, I can't find exactly where it was, but I read it earlier. But it has something to do with trust is not believing that you will be safe from harm. That's not necessarily trust. The trust in this case is knowing that even if you are harmed, because we can't avoid pain, or hurt or suffering. It's unavoidable, right? So trust is knowing that even if harm befalls you, you will be able to heal. So it's the knowing that healing is always possible from pain. That's what's coming through for trust for you. So I feel like Aries, there's something about like perhaps you're in a position right now where you feel very vulnerable, or that there is perhaps like a risk of pain and suffering, or like the feeling of somebody else seeing the skeleton woman aspect of you, right? The part of you that has gone through pain perhaps, or the part of you that is unseen, or that like is in the shadows, or that maybe you don't find beautiful, or that there's something about like another person witnessing that could be like fearful or something like that. And being vulnerable with that so that transformation can occur. So in all the parties involved, if it's like a dynamic between you and another, or if it's just you within yourself, right? So it's really beautiful, Aries. It's not an easy energy, but it is worth it. Okay. So one card came out. You have the Spring card, which is very fitting for this story today, because spring is when we come out of winter, right? It's sort of like a rebirth energy. It is a rebirth for you, a new beginning. Spring is also Aries season, right? Coming out of winter, new life, like things that are thawing. I think there's also a reminder here for you, Aries, that you don't have to fight, like it, because it's kind of coming through like so there may be something of like a fight or flight energy that's being activated within you, like a fear activation, that kind of thing. And it's like, just surrender to the process, whatever it is that you're dealing with at the moment. Once the fear fades, you'll be able to untangle the skeleton woman. That's how it's coming through. It feels very much like an aspect of yourself that you're untangling. There may be somebody else who's helping you with that process, but ultimately I feel like this is about seeing your own skeleton. It's nothing to fear. Okay. Blossoming, becoming the horizon. When spring arrives, our eyes lift from the work and we peer out the window of our laboratory. We realize Earth has been in its own transformational spin, readying itself for a new era of growth. In a state of wonder, the alchemist sets aside the work of winter and opens the door, stepping into spring. When this card arrives, it indicates a blossoming, a coming into one's own. It's generation time. You may be dreaming up a business plan, humming a new melody, or flirting with a special someone. Spring is the season of the east where the sun rises and lights the world. You do not have to work on anything during this phase. Let the energy of the season push through. You made it through winter and the bulbs burst on their own. Yeah. Aries, that's a really positive energy. I actually feel like there has been an untangling already. You're in that process of like it's been untangled, right? Like something, because winter is coming in with that energy of like the cold, the ice, something that's been sort of frozen, or at the bottom of the ocean, that kind of energy. It's untangling, it's defrosting. And it's happening naturally, right? It's like you don't have to fight for anything at the moment, Aries. You don't have to fight. That's how it's coming through. Just allow it to happen, right? You don't need to force anything. It's coming through with like very gentle, compassionate detangling. That's just how it's feeling to me. Okay, and despicable face at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, this card is that energy of the skeleton woman, right? The parts of ourselves that we don't want other people to see, the parts of ourselves that we feel shame about, maybe, or that there's like you want to hide it because it's like, for lack of a better word, despicable, right? There's something about perhaps an aspect of yourself that you find to be like either something that you're ashamed of, or there's like some sort of discomfort around that aspect of yourself that's being untangled by someone lovingly, right? Very lovingly. It's also something that you should also focus more love on for yourself. Seeing yourself with a lens of self-love and self-compassion as well. There's this energy of like surrendering control, Aries. You don't have to fight, right? There's like it's kind of like, especially with that energy of like something being caught in a net, the more you fight, the worse it gets, right? The more that you try and struggle against something, the more difficult it becomes. So it's kind of just like coming through as being like just surrender and release. I feel like it's almost like if the fisherman energy in this story is not a particular person, it could just be like the universe, your guides, who are gently untangling some aspect of yourself that is needing to be freed and needing to go through a rebirth. The more you struggle, the more difficult it becomes, right? That's how it's coming through. You have these two cards, the Ram, Determination, and Dahlia, the Snake and the Fern, starting over. Both of these cards coming up. Aries, you're starting over in something. That's amazing. That's an amazing synchronicity. This is you. And the snake in this card, or in this deck, is coming through as that Scorpio energy, right? The starting over, the rebirth, the spring. I actually am, I was seeing like, you're breaking free of something. It's feeling very strongly like that. You're breaking free of something. Whatever this net is that was causing you to be like, but that's the thing. In this story, the net is actually the thing that connects the fisherman and the skeleton woman, right? So maybe there's something where you feel kind of stuck. Aries, maybe there's something where you feel kind of stuck in something, but it's actually it's the stuckness, the feeling of being caught in a net is actually like benefiting you in some way, because it's actually forcing you to look at something that maybe you haven't been wanting to look at. And it's also allowing like the universe to do its work, or perhaps another person, right? It's like, because I feel like you're going through a healing process that involves others in general. It does feel like others are involved in this in whatever way that is. And it feels kind of like it's like healing whatever it is that this energy is within you. It's healing that. So don't resist the process, Aries. It's uncomfortable, of course, but it is for your highest good. That's how it's coming through. You're starting over. Sometimes that card comes in with a bit of like a vibe of like, oh, I have to start over. You know, but it's not coming through like that. It's more like you're beginning again, right? Spring has come around again. It's a rebirth. It's a new life. It's very positive. There's 5 is a very important number for you as well, right? With the change. Just because I'm seeing the 5 gems in the tree there, and the chapter 5, which I misread as 3. There's a lot of change happening for you. I'm gonna switch decks. The animals want to, or sorry, the elementals. There's a lot of earthy energies for you as well. So I feel like you are working with earth elements at the moment, or that there's something about like perhaps like resources in whatever form that is for you. Doesn't have to just be money, but it just feels like you're working with like materials or resources or something very physical and creating something out of that. There could be a new beginning there as well. There could also just be sort of like your energy. Your energy is warming up is how it's feeling. So you may feel like maybe you were in a period of time where you didn't have a lot of energy or something like that, but it feel like it's winter, right? Like you're preserving energy. You're like the sun goes down sooner. I feel like whatever it is in this, your energy feels like it's like in yesterday's Sagittarius reading is like picking up. Like the energy is increasing, your energy is increasing, maybe you have more energy to do more things. It's just how it's coming through. Or to create things, or to explore things, or to start over, to start again. There's definitely a new beginning for you in some aspect of your life. It's going through a rebirth. This is the waking up process, though. Yeah, okay. Power. The waking up your energy is how it's coming through. Through like a significant rebirth. I feel like you're creating something through fire is how it's coming through. Because the volcano is an energy of earth and fire coming together is actually how it feels. Volcanoes can be destructive, right? In this case, though, I was seeing sort of like, you know, how after the lava, like if it's like a ocean volcano, after the lava cools, it can create islands, right? Like it's kind of coming through like that, where I feel like you're creating earth. You're creating earth through fire. You're creating something physical through a fiery process. Okay. Interesting. Okay, they didn't want me to pull two more, but I got to anyway. I'm going to put them back. But growth and fury. Interesting. I feel like you're healing from a process where fire was used destructively. So, yeah. Where fire was used destructively to destroy things. And perhaps now you're learning how fire can be used to create as well, like inspiration, passion, creativity. But it's feeling very gentle, though. Even though this card like has this sort of intense energy, it's there's still like a gentleness and a tenderness that's coming through with this, because it's kind of like being very careful with something. There is also this energy of hummingbirds coming through. Maybe you're searching for the nectar, right? It's kind of like a period of time, like, especially if it's like coming out of hibernation, right? Out of the winter, and you need nourishment, or you need food, or whatever, hunger. It's that kind of energy where it's like you're seeking nourishment, or you're like finding the nectar, because the flowers are starting to bloom. Like it's that kind of energy of like life. Like a new life. feeling alive, perhaps. Like that, it's that kind of feeling. But it's coming through healing. The skeleton woman, like it's so there's so much there. Whatever it is, because the skeleton is coming through today as being like the foundation, right? The structure that holds everything together. You have that, Aries. You have the structure, right? If you also think about like the trees, the branches, the bare branches as being like stripped of leaves or stripped of the flesh, which is really interesting. It's kind of like you have the foundation, you have the structure, you have the scaffolding, right? Like sort of like this bare bone energy that you're building flesh on is actually how it's coming through. You're putting leaves on the branches, you're putting flesh on the bone. It's an energy of growth after something that was destructive. Because I actually feel like you have this sort of like a blank slate, so to speak. You're starting over. I don't want to phrase it like that because that feels like it's not supposed to feel daunting, right? It's supposed to feel like spring. Like a new beginning. It's like it's not cold anymore, that kind of thing. There may be some days where it feels like that, but overall you're getting to a place where it's warmer. The hummingbirds. The hummingbirds. Okay. Water, spring, earth. This is a card about co-creation. But there's that sort of like barren landscape. Again, it's like this is coming through as being like the island, the bare space, perhaps, that is created after sort of the volcanic energy has like cooled, right? And it's like the hummingbirds are coming in. Like, it's like, I've gotten this energy in a past reading. I can't remember which one it was. But sort of like after a forest fire, how like the land is barren, but there's signs of life coming in again. That's how it's feeling to me. This is an energy of co-creation. That everything is a co-creation. Everything that we do is a co-creation with other people. And the universe as well. So there is this energy of collaboration, okay, which is so interesting because okay, you can't really see the number here, but it's 32, which adds to 5, right? 3 and 2 equal 5. 5 is coming through here, and then that mix up with the chapter 3, chapter 5. So there is feeling like, it's feeling kind of like maybe a change in collaborations, like that kind of thing. Something about like how you create with other people is changing. Because it is also the snake. The snake also looks kind of tangled up in something. I feel like maybe the snake is representing something where because with both of these, it's kind of coming through with like a kundalini energy. Like, so you could be going through some sort of awakening process of like a certain aspect of your life, right? It doesn't have to be like all encompassing. It could just be like one small aspect of your life where you're going through some sort of awakening process. Okay, Aries, sorry, there was an interruption, but then I just took that opportunity to pull the rest of your cards. So you have here, the next cards that are coming out are Sky, Snow, Moon, Water, River, Sun, and Water, Spring, Sun, which is so interesting because you have this sort of snow energy that's sort of melting into water, right? And these are like, these two cards are some of the most positive cards in this deck. This one I'm going to just skim briefly because so first of all, cardinals may be a significant symbol for you. To me, that represents winter. But you may want to look it up and see if there's more information for you about that. Yeah, okay, so this one's about emotions, like moving through emotions. Yeah, it's about so it comes through with this energy of like overthinking your emotions when it's just kind of like let yourself feel them. That it could just be something like that. And especially because it's coming through with water, right? Frozen water. Maybe there was something about you weren't feeling your emotions or you were feeling disconnected from them in some way, or that they were frozen and not moving, like kind of stagnant. Whereas all of this water energy is coming in as being like a fluidity in your emotional experience. This is a card about, I love this card. It's been coming up a lot in a couple of different readings, but it's about having gone through a very major transformation, that you are not the person that you once were, and that other people are also taking notice of that, Aries. It's a spiritual upgrade. That's what this card is about. A spiritual upgrade that is noticeable by other people. It's like your brilliance is shining. That's how it's coming through. It's like the skeleton woman getting a body again. Like that's how it's coming through. A major transformation for you, Aries. There's also this energy where I feel like right now you may be in sort of this place, which is coming through as land, cave, moon, fire, ancestor, fire, earth. Which, again, this 5 is important. You have 5 flames there. A lot of change. But it's coming through as being like, that ancestor fire card talks about like connecting with your ancestors or the past or your roots, your family, learning from what they have gone through, and also knowing when it's time to burn old patterns away. So you could be going through that kind of process of like, connecting with your roots or your ancestors or family or however you relate to that energy, learning from it and like taking what is good, what's working, and then burning away what's not. And that could be a very internal process for you at the moment, because it's like you're not starting from zero, right? You're starting over, you're starting fresh. But you're not starting from zero. I feel like you have a lot of wisdom here. That wise innocence, which talks about like seeing the good and the bad and the ugly and all of that and the beautiful, being able to see all of it and then choosing to focus on the good. That's what's coming through here. It's very healing. You may also be letting go because of that wise innocence energy. The opposite of that would be sort of like someone who's very like has a lot of defenses up, someone who has a lot of like calloused energy, like pessimistic, cynical, that kind of energy. Maybe that's something that you're letting go, because that can come through as being like you see the bad. You see all, you know that there's bad in the world, and then you focus on it, right? That would be cynical, pessimistic. The wise innocence is seeing all the good and the bad and choosing to focus on the good. That's how it's coming through. Anyways, this is going to be a long reading, but anyways, the next card to come out, it came out underneath this volcano card, which is so interesting. to me the fire, volcano, earth, right? You have volcano twice from 2 different decks. And it's specifically, you have fire and earth here, which is what I was talking about. That you're creating earth, or you're shaping the earth, manifesting something, perhaps, with fire as being like one of the elements that you're working with. I'm going to read this one. Okay. A true leader recognizes the needs of the people and then inspires and encourages them to bring their passions and their genius forth. You are being called to leadership, dear one. It is time to take your rightful place at the table and to inspire others to do the same. You must share your love and guide the people to take action that is aligned with spirit. Know that everything you've gone through, the hardships, the challenges, and even the blessings, have been designed to support you in the journey ahead, the journey of being a leader of legacy. Trust the path, trust your steps, trust in spirit. Okay, so what's coming through for this card for you is actually like, I feel like there's an aspect of you that, yes, will resonate with that skeleton woman energy, right? The one that, like, healing some aspect of yourself that maybe is associated with shame or fear or pain. I feel like, though, you're also seeing a skeleton woman aspect within others around you, where you can, maybe you're getting insight or your intuition about what other people around you need, right? It's like you're seeing people with the eyes of someone who is wise and innocent, where you can see what other people need. You can see the skeleton woman that's been caught in a net, and then doing all that you can to gently untangle that energy from the net. That's how it's coming through, which comes in with this process of healing. Again, Aries, there's a reminder here of trusting. Not that there's never going to be pain or hardship or harm or whatever, but knowing that if something happens where you get hurt or there's harm or whatever, or there's pain, that you know that there's always healing that's available to you. So that's how it's coming through. So trust is not, I'm just going to leave it there. I don't want to over explain it. Okay. And there's that energy again with 3. Like there's 3 pieces of wood leading to the volcano. 3 and 5 are really significant numbers for you today. Okay, yeah. This is at the center of your reading today. This is a card about embracing your gifts. And then you have fire and earth again for this card. A lot of earth that you're working with at the moment. This is a card about embracing and appreciating your gifts, right? It's not about, like, because this card comes in with this caution of, like, if you receive a gift from someone, you shouldn't just, like, mutter thanks and then, like, push it away or, like, open it later. It's like this is something that needs to be shared with other people so that other people can appreciate it. And the gift, in this case, is your fire, Aries. Okay, Aries, sorry, there's a lot of interruptions today. So, I feel like there's something about, like, your creational fire, because you are cardinal fire, right? The cardinal fire sign. Spring is your season. It's also coming through as being like you have the ability to move out of winter, right? I feel like there's something about your fire and earth that is really significant for you. I feel like there's something about, like, what you are creating or how you inspire or how you connect with your creativity that is helping to untangle the skeleton woman aspect within yourself, but also within others as well. Okay. I'm going to leave it there, Aries. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.